my name is Elizabeth, and I'm a collections manager at the Revelstoke Museum Archives. And today I'll be showing you a small peek into local wildlife in Revelstoke. More specifically, I'll be telling you about these lovely feathered Revelstokians here, some owls. So I'll start with these two small guys here. So this one is a saw-whet owl, and this one is a northern pygmy owl. And both are native to North America and can be found in Revelstoke. These specific birds were found dead or dying and were given to Arnold Chaddock and Doug Powell, who were both local birders, and they had the owl stuffed. And the act of stuffing an animal and mounting it so it could stand like this is called taxidermy. As you can see, they're both quite small. These are adults, and they have similar coloration and shades of brown and white. So when you're out and about and you see them high up in a tree perch, it might be hard to distinguish who's who. So how do you identify them? For this guy, if you manage to see him up close, you can tell because his beak is yellow. And if you look at the other owl here, his beak is not yellow, it's black. So if you have binoculars, for instance, and you can get a closer look, you can tell by that. Another key difference is that the saw-whet owl is nocturnal, which means he is active during the night. The pygmy owl is diurnal, which means he is active during the day. So chances are, if you see an owl, you're probably going to be seeing a pygmy owl if he's active during the day. While you're not likely to actually see them because they can be quite camouflaged, you might be able to hear them. So the saw-whet owl has a shrill, penetrating call that they give many times in quick succession, and they kind of sound like a truck backing up. Excuse me. And I will give you an example here, if my phone works. So this is a northern saw-whet owl call. So he does kind of sound like a little alarm or a truck backing up. It's kind of adorable if you ask me. And a pygmy owl has a whistled hoot, but does not call as frequently as a saw-whet owl. So here is the pygmy owl. See? So they sound similar, but one is slower in its calls and one is quicker. And if you're ever lucky to catch a glimpse of a mating pair, which means a male and female together, how can you tell which one's a female and which one's a male? So they do not exhibit sexual dimorphism in terms of plumage, so that means they're going to look the same in terms of color. But one key difference that you can tell from most birds of prey, which means birds that hunt other animals, is that the female will typically be significantly larger than the male. On the topic of mating, male saw-whet owls will sing incessantly to attract a female. And pygmy owls' courtships generally involve less singing than may involve rapid aerial chases in the sky. Despite their size, these two birds are predators like every other type of animal, or owl, and their diets are also different from one another. A study compared the eating habits of the northern saw-whet owls to northern pygmy owls and found that they prey on different animals for their main food source. With the saw-whet owl, 90% of their diet was small mammals, such as mice and squirrels. And yes, this guy's big enough to take on a squirrel. While for the pygmy owls, over 1/3 of their prey were other birds. Both owls have also been observed successfully killing and eating animals 4 times their own body weight. So there's a lot of strength for these small guys. They're also known as sit-and-wait type predators, in that they usually remain perched high on a tree and wait for their prey to come to the right place at the right time, or the wrong place at the wrong time from the prey's perspective, and they'll swoop down and quickly catch their prey. For example, pygmy owls are especially smart because they'll wait at bird feeders, and they'll see a hummingbird, for instance, come in and they'll catch them. So if you have a bird feeder in your lawn, chances are you probably fed a pygmy owl once or twice. And now for this bigger fella here. This is a barred owl. And as you can tell, it's significantly larger than the other two, so chances are you won't be mistaking the barred owl for a saw-whet owl or a pygmy owl. Again, this is native to North America and can be seen in Revelstoke. And this bird was also given to Arnold Chaddock and Doug Powell, who had it stuffed. So naturally, barred owls, given their size, will be hunting other smaller owls. And they will also hunt about just anything they can get their talons on, really. They will hunt mice, squirrels, rabbits, possums, shrews, cats sometimes. They also eat various other birds, frogs, salamanders, snakes, lizards, and some insects. And they may even take on aquatic creatures such as crayfish, crabs, and fish if their environment allows for it. Like with previously discussed owls, there's no sexual dimorphism in terms of plumage. Male and females in terms of color still look the same, but again, the female will be larger than the males. And they are mostly nocturnal, so if you're a hopeful bird watcher, you might have some trouble actually trying to see them. However, they have some of the most recognizable calls in terms of all owls. They have a very quintessential owl call, which I will play now. So that's, let's see if it goes again. So yeah, when you think of owls, you probably think of that call. So there are also several other types of calls, depending on how the animal's feeling. They vary from cackles, hoots, caws, gurgles, and at times they are described as sudden demonic laughter, or cat-like screams, or prolonged outbursts of cackling. So whoever described those sounds clearly was having a lot of fun. As for courtship, both males and females will do a dance for each other. They will bob their heads, spread their wings, and call to each other while perched close by. The male may feed the female during courtship as well. Members of a pair of owls are often called a duet. And that's all the basic knowledge you'll need to know to identify some of the feathered Revelstokians that we have here if you're a hopeful birder. But before I finish, I'll leave you with one final fun fact. A group of owls is called a parliament. My name is Elizabeth, and this has been a small peek at the local wildlife in Revelstoke.